Investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who interviewed whistleblower David Grusch, joins me now. And Ross, David Grusch has spoken publicly only once in your interview for News Nation. He will now tell his story under oath to Congress. How do you think he'll hold up under questioning?
He's really looking forward to it, Elizabeth. This is a unique opportunity for an intelligence officer who's operated at a very high level inside the US military and intelligence establishment to reveal for the first time what he actually knows. I do caution, though, people need to be aware that Mr. Grusch is still under the obligations of his security oath, and the Pentagon and the intelligence community know that, so he can't say anything that breaches national security. And that's a frustration for him. I'm sure he'd like to say a lot more than he's allowed to reveal.
Right. Well, his story, even what he can say and has said thus far here on this network, is incredible. But it's all based on secondhand information. He didn't actually see this non-human aircraft himself. He says he was told about it. Isn't that a problem?
I don't think it is, no. I mean, I think this hearing that we're going to see next week is the beginning of multiple hearings. I think you're going to see a slow rollout of witnesses, including first-hand witnesses who are prepared to testify. This is getting a momentum now. What I think is the key issue is that it's quite clear that there has been obstruction. Mr. Grusch himself has made allegations of reprisals and harassment for his decision to come forward, and that's still the subject of investigations by the Inspector General of the intelligence community. But now, just in the last 24 hours, we've got allegations from 4 representatives, including Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, that there's been deliberate obstruction to stop representatives of a Congressional Oversight Committee from being allowed to talk to Air Force pilots at Eglin Air Force Base. And I think this is really important, Elizabeth. This is a Congressional Oversight Committee doing its lawful job, trying to hold the military and the intelligence community to account. And there is an allegation from Mr. Burchett and from Representative Luna that in their efforts to talk to pilots at Eglin Air Force Base, the commanding Brigadier General blocked pilots from being interviewed by Congress's Oversight Committee.
Yeah.
And you really have to wonder what's going on here.
Absolutely. And that doves exactly with one of the other witnesses who will appear, Ryan Graves. He's appeared on this show several times and has talked about the fact that many of the pilots are actively and vociferously discouraged from reporting what they are seeing up there. He says it was almost a nightly event that they would be out on patrol, out doing maneuvers, and they would see something that they didn't recognize and had to file a report on that. But they were told to bury these reports.
That's true. And this is why I think there's the focus in this first committee hearing on the pilots, on the military representatives, because I think it's very important here to make the observation that in the preliminary reports that came into Congress, there was kind of ambiguousness about whether or not there was any issue of national security or flight safety threat. And the various representatives from the intelligence community who gave evidence in the very first UAP hearings were a bit one way about it. Now we've got pilots on the record basically saying they're concerned about multiple near misses. I think it's about 12 or 14 near misses that have taken place on training ranges. And I think that's very important. And I think what Ryan Graves and David Fravor are courageously doing is sticking their heads up above the parapet to signal to other pilots and other military witnesses that it's okay to come forward, that Congress wants your evidence, and despite efforts by people in the intelligence and defense community to obstruct this, and I think that's outrageous. These officers should be facing a court-martial investigation for their attempt to hinder a congressional inquiry. It's clear that what they're trying to do in the committee is signal to military witnesses that it's okay for them to come forward.
Right.
The other thing that's just happened, by the way, is Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the head of the Pentagon's UFO investigation office, has also done an interview with another network where he's basically admitted for the first time that they've interviewed almost 30 individuals who've come in to provide testimony. And while he's still running the line that none of this has led to any verifiable information that substantiates that the US government has these ships or a reverse engineering program, he's admitted that a number of these whistleblowers believe and have stated, and quote, "We believe them now," he says, that they have seen something. And we are investigating.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.